Hi there, my name is Lo. Welcome to my channel where I discuss everything between Hermes and grocery bags. Today I'm doing a tag video about 5 bags that I'm not buying anymore. Not because I got tagged, because still my channel is too small for that, but that is okay. I'm doing this tag because I always think it is interesting to share your luxury insights or share your luxury regrets, because that's kind of what this video is about, right? These are things I have bought, but I'm not buying them again, and I will explain to you for what reason. The first thing I'm not buying anymore is bags from brands that don't excite me or don't excite me anymore. So let me say up front, these are just my opinions, and I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with these bags or these brands I will be discussing, although I will be nagging a little bit about that Michael Kors bag over there in a bit. But I've noticed that some brands are just not it for me, or they're just not it for me anymore. And in the past I've gotten these bags, or I've gotten bags from these brands like Michael Kors, Furla, but also Coach, and I've gotten bags from these brands because they were attainable, they were not too expensive, and I felt like these are things that sort of belong in a bag collection, and from the pictures I really like them. But whenever I get a bag from either Michael Kors or Furla or Coach, I get over them so quickly. I've also, especially from Michael Kors, I've sold quite a number of my bags by now. I still have a number of them on sale, because even in pristine condition they have horrible resale value, so like I don't want to drop them for like 50 euros for example. But in any case, I know now that these brands for some reason don't work for me, and I know especially with Coach, like there's a lot of Coach fans out there, but I've gotten thus far I think 2 bags from them, one of which I'm trying to sell, and then we still have this Coach tabby that I'm still desperately trying to figure out how I can make this work in my collection. I love the color on this, I really like the color blocking, and it's definitely something that fills a void in my collection, but for some reason I just don't really reach for it. I reach for other flat bags, that is not it. I really cannot point out what it is because it's also not the quality. Like Furla and Coach, I only have good experiences with the quality, but these brands apparently just don't speak to me anymore, so I'm very resistant right now to buy any more bags from them. I think the pillow tabby is really cute, but then if I have to think about when would I be wearing this, would I actually reach for this, to be honest the answer is just going to be no. So I'm not buying any more bags from Coach, Furla and Michael Kors, not because they're not good brands, but just because they don't really speak to me anymore, they don't really excite me, or they don't excite me anymore. Okay, then moving on to the nagging on the Michael Kors bag that's in the back over here. Let me just reach for that. So another thing I am not buying anymore, pay attention here, I'm going to be somewhat vague but also highly specific. So I'm not going to buy bags anymore that have this treated or textured or embossed type of leather. Like, you can hear from this, like this is not a smooth leather, this has an artificial graining to it, but only on non-structured bags. So I'm perfectly fine to have structured bags. I have a Saint Laurent envelope clutch that also has the caviar leather, embossed, treated, structured leather, but because that bag is very structured, I also trust that's going to have fairly good durability. So the experience that I've had with this bag, and a couple of years ago, I really like this bag. It carries very nicely on the shoulder because this leather is actually treated. It's also quite weather resistant, and it has a zipper on top so my stuff inside wouldn't get wet. In any case, I wore this for pretty much the whole winter, but then later when I reached for this bag again, I saw that basically all these specks of treated leather had come off, which meant that there were little white dots all over my bag. And that's because the graining on this leather, or the caviar, or whatever you want to call it, because this bag I think is more flexible, it's just more prone to getting damaged. So at least that is my best assumption, because I only have this type of issue with bags that are not very structured. So I'm not sure if it's just like a Michael Kors type of issue, because unstructured Furla bags or something like that, I never have an issue with this type of leather damaging, but I think just because this is more smushy and it is still fairly structured, right? It doesn't like fall in on itself, but I just don't want the treated leather to sort of fall off the bag, if that makes sense, because it's just going to be wet underneath. So what I did with this bag quite frankly, I think I took like a marker that was in a similar color and I just started carefully filling in these very tiny white specks that were on the back. And now again, it looks okay. I will still take it out occasionally if the weather is very bad, or if I want to bring a bag that I don't have to worry too much about. It doesn't have any feet on the bottom, but commonly I'm fairly okay with just putting this on the ground, even in the train. So this bag still has a purpose to me. I mean, it even has D-rings and a shoulder strap, so it's really quite versatile. And if I'm correct, it even comes with a fairly nice pouch. But yeah, if I'm buying bags that are not 100% structured anymore, I'm just gonna go with normal full grain type of leather, if that makes sense, and not with this treated leather, especially not if it's supposed to be sort of this caviar type of grain. Perhaps it does better in Saffiano, because if I recall correctly, I haven't really had a lot of issues with my Michael Kors Saffiano bags. Long story short, none of that anymore. Then the next thing, which is a very broad category, is white bags. So I had to actually run to the basement to get this one, because this is even one that I don't use a lot. And I've sold my other white bags, so I think I had two of them. I had a My Oh My bag and I had a white Furla Metropolis that I decided to sell. As I'm wearing bags, over time I'm figuring out, first of all, what colors work for me, and I really tend to go with neutrals, and then occasionally I like to wear like a red bag. When it comes to brown bags, for example, I find that I'm sort of struggling to wear big brown bags, but when it's smaller brown bags, like, well, this is not really a brown one, it's more of an orange or a caramel, but I'm finding that I'm quite okay with smaller brown bags, not with big brown bags. But with white bags, it doesn't really matter if they're big or if they're small. It's just not working for me one way or the other, and I don't reach for them. And once again, I cannot really explain what it is, just like with the Coach bags, or I really don't know, but every time I pick up a white bag, I just feel like it's not me. And some people like Lou from Je Suis Lou, she has a gorgeous white bag collection and she styles it so amazingly. And I also tend to wear a good amount, I would say, of light neutrals like beige, but I just always feel like the white is so out of place when I wear it. And even if I'm just wearing white, I will wear a white t-shirt or a white sweater and still a white bag will feel out of place. So I got this white Ted Baker bag, and this was only like not even 25 euros. So it's fine, I will still use this for travel or occasionally for groceries or something. But I took this to work the other day because it was raining, and well, this is also just a canvas material, so I figured, fine, I'll just take this one out in the rain. I don't want to bring any of my good bags. And then when I arrived at the office, and one of my colleagues then told me like, wow, that's a very posh bag. And I'm like, no, it's only a Ted Baker bag. It was like 25 euros. Okay, so this is a very Dutch thing to say whenever somebody gives you a compliment, and she really meant it nicely. Dutch people are very prone to saying like, oh, it was only like 25 euros and it was on sale, yada yada. In any case, usually if people compliment me on my bag, I will just tell them like, oh, thank you. And I will generally like getting compliments about my bags. But with this one, I was getting complimented and I was nearly feeling like an imposter, like, oh my god, somebody noticed that I'm wearing a white bag and I shouldn't be wearing a white bag. So in any case, it doesn't make any sense. I wouldn't want to tell anybody not to buy any white bags, but perhaps as a general notion, try to figure out what colors will work best for you. And if a color is just not giving you a vibe, or if a very big bag in a particular color is just not giving you a vibe, then try to recognize that, so you don't keep buying these bags over and over, even when other people do, because these bags are just in very common colors. Then the fourth type of bag I'm not buying. Well, this is not really a type of bag, but what I'm not buying anymore is duplicates of bags in different colors. So I already tend not to do this a lot. I think the best example I have are these C by Chloe Hannah bags, both in a very nice grained goat skin. I also have two small Givenchy Pandora bags. One of them is in goat leather and the other one is in Pepe leather. So I would say that in terms of style, those are still a bit different from one another, but these are identical, just in a different color. So I got this one first, and then of course I saw this one on sale at some point in time, and I figured I like this bag because I do really like this bag. Let's just get it in a black, because black goes with everything, while I struggle to combine this one a little bit more. The thing that I'm finding with duplicates of bags is that I will always favor one over the other, and once I start favoring one over the other, then I'm always wondering why I still have the other. Because apparently the one that I favor is doing a good enough job. I have a very hard time loving both of these equally or loving both of these in their own way. Well, if I only had this one, I would probably say this fills a void in my collection. This is in a color that otherwise I wouldn't really have. Well, if I would just have this one, yeah, because it's black and I have a billion black bags, that would be kind of boring. But then still, now that I have both of them, I'm not really sure actually why I felt it was necessary to get this black one, or then once that I got this black one, why I feel it's necessary to keep this orangey brown caramelly one. I have a really hard time describing what this color is like. It also has a hint of pink. Well, it doesn't matter. It actually does go with a lot of things, this color, but the black of course pretty much goes with everything. So this is usually the preferred candidate. Also because with black, of course, I don't have to worry about any color transfer. Well, with this lighter one, I do. So I'm just not getting any duplicates anymore, because then I can just love the bag in the style that it's in, and the other color never really has to become a second choice. And then the last type of bag I'm not buying anymore, and at least I hope I'm not buying these anymore. Honestly, with all of these bags, I feel, or all of these things that I'm mentioning, I feel like I might be eating my words just honestly next week. But okay, I'm trying to tell myself that I will not be doing this anymore, and I sincerely hope also just by putting it out here that I won't, but we'll see how that goes. Anyway, so the last type of bag I'm not buying anymore is bags that don't fit my phone. I know a lot of people don't really care about that because they always wear their phone in their hand. I really don't know how that works. I will sometimes go on a 1.5 hour walk and I'm definitely not going to hold my phone in my hand. But then again, I also really see people just on a run or jogging holding their phone in their hands. To me, it's just very inconvenient. I don't want to hold my phone. Ideally, I just have my phone in my bag, and that's why really 99% of my bags will hold the phone. Really, this Jacquemus Le Chiquito bag is the only one that doesn't. And then I also have a couple of bags that will fit my Galaxy Z Flip phone, because yeah, technically this is only the size of half a phone, although it's going to be a bit thicker. So my Loewe Puzzle Nano will actually fit my phone when it's in a folded state, but not when it's open. And I also have an APC Grace bag in the mini that I suppose will fit an iPhone mini, but if I fold open my phone, that doesn't fit in that bag. Oh, and also my Furla Metropolis bag in the squared size, that doesn't fit this phone when it's folded open. So with bags that will just not fit my phone, because if it's folded open, this is quite a big phone and I don't think I would really ever go back to having such a big phone again. I'm okay with that, but it's not what I want the bulk of my collection to be like. Then with bags like the Loewe Puzzle Nano, that will probably not fit any phone if it's just a regular size phone or an iPhone mini or whatever. I really don't want to have any more bags like that, and I definitely don't want to have any more bags like this that will not even fit my Galaxy Z Flip if it's folded shut. So I just got this because this is an epic design. I also feel like if you have this bag, you should just have it in the Le Chiquito and not in the bigger sizes. If that's for you, go for that. But I think just in the aesthetic of this bag, it is meant to be small, right? That's the first one that they brought out. The complete ridiculousness of a bag this size is also appealing to some extent, but I'm just not adding any more of these bags to my collection. You see, a lot of these nano bags have been brought out over the past couple of years. I think to some extent it's also just a marketing strategy from brands. If you cannot afford the bigger thing, that you just go with the nano size and you're just gonna have a very impractical bag that will hold like a card and 2 Tic Tacs. So I really try not to fall for that sort of marketing strategy and then just wait a little bit longer, save a little bit longer, be on the hunt a little bit longer for a good deal, just so I can get the bag in the size that will actually work for me. So those are my 5 bags or types of bags that I'm not buying anymore. I thought perhaps at the beginning of the video this was going to be a bit more objective, but I see it's been very subjective. So these are just learnings from my end. If you feel completely different about the brands, the colors, the sizes, everything that I discussed in this video, of course just go ahead and buy and wear these bags. The whole point is that we enjoy these luxury things that we buy, and not that we feel that we cannot wear them anymore because somebody on the internet has told us that it's a bad idea or it's horrible taste or whatever. That's really not my point to this video. So if you have any questions about these bags, as usual, feel free to drop them down below for me in the comments and I'll get back to you. Remember, there's a styling, a situation, and a taste for everything, so don't judge, wear whatever bag you like. Until next time, or as we would say in Dutch, doei!